Hi, this is Mrs. Arroyo. Today we are on day 4 of math, comparing objects using longer and shorter. Go ahead and solve the problem in your head. Pause the video if you need to. 18 minus 13. You should have 5. 17 minus 6. You should have 11. Our daily learning target for today is I can use a reference object to compare the lengths of two objects as longer or shorter. Our standard is order 3 objects by length. Compare the lengths of 2 objects indirectly by using a third object. So I'm going to show you in a series of steps how I measured and compared these 2 cats. Now keep in mind I'm using images of cats. If you were to try to do this to a real cat, it's not going to work out so well for you, so I only recommend measuring toy cats or images just like me. So step 1, take your measuring tool. Our tool in this case is orange tiles, all the same size, and line it up from end to end, close to the object. If it's too far away from the object, it might not be so accurate. And we are also making sure that we have no gaps in between each tile and no overlapping tiles. And we are using just enough, not too many, not too few tiles. Step 2, count how many tiles you use to measure each thing, or in this case, each cat. Write it down. So for the white cat, we used 8 tiles, and for the orange cat, we used 12 tiles. Step 3, compare the things you measured. The white cat is 8 tiles long. The orange cat is 12 tiles long. The orange cat is longer than the white cat because 12 is larger than 8. The white cat is shorter than the orange cat because 8 is smaller than 12. Step 4. Write down your final answer or your final statement about the things you measured. The orange cat is longer than the white cat because the orange cat measured 12 tiles long and the white cat measured only 8 tiles long. You could also turn this around and say the white cat is shorter than the orange cat because the white cat measured 8 tiles long, whereas the orange cat measured 12 tiles long, and 12 is a larger number than 8. Now we're going to explore measuring paintbrushes. Jamie wants to compare the length of these paintbrushes using place value blocks. Complete the sentence stems and justify your thinking by drawing a model of what you observe. So this is what Jamie said. Jamie said, the black paintbrush is shorter than the brown paintbrush because it measured 8 blocks and the brown paintbrush measured 9 blocks, and then showed a model. Does this solution make sense? And does your work look similar or different? Pause the video to think about it for a little bit and press play when you're ready to discuss it with me. So the way Jamie was thinking about this does make sense. The black paintbrush is shorter than the brown paintbrush because 8 blocks are fewer blocks than 9. 8 is a smaller number than 9, so it makes sense to say that the black paintbrush is shorter. It might be confusing for you if you look at the model because the model is hand-drawn, and when you draw things out, we're not perfect. We're going to draw it so that the blocks are slightly different sizes, but when we actually use the blocks are the same size. So you can't just go based off of someone's drawing, but by the reasoning, where Jamie is saying it measured 8 blocks and the brown paintbrush measured 9 blocks, that is the proof. We can show another way to check our work. How can Jamie use this ball of string her cat is playing with to check her work? So the first thing you would want to do if you're using string to measure is get a grown-up to get you some scissors and help you out. And then you would take the yarn or the string, line it up against each paintbrush, and cut it so that it fits the paintbrush exactly, or as close as you can possibly get it to. After you line it up and trim the string to match each paintbrush, then you can compare the string to each other. Now we're not comparing the paintbrushes, we are doing what's called an indirect comparison. Indirect means you are not lining up the objects you're measuring themselves, but the tool that you use to measure them. In this case, we used string to measure each paintbrush. So after we trim our string to precisely match our paintbrush length, then we can compare the string. This is the black paintbrush string, and this is the orange paintbrush string. We line them up at the starting point, and then we see that the black paintbrush's string has an ending point before the orange. So the black paintbrush is shorter than the orange. Now it's time to check your understanding. You can go online or in the packet and complete this. Each yellow tile is the same size and shape. Which sentences correctly compare the measurements of the black and gray lines? Select all that are true. The first one says, the black line is 2 tiles shorter than the gray line. The second statement says, the black line is longer than the gray line. The third statement says, the gray line is 2 tiles longer than the black line. So go ahead and complete this either on Canvas or in your packet. You can always call or message me if you have any questions about how to complete it. If you want to go above and beyond, you can take some string that you have at home or things that you might have, such as blocks or tiles, and you can indirectly compare objects that you have, such as utensils or toys, just whatever you have available, and you can share that with me. Thank you so much.